Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
Good afternoon and welcome to Put Your Family First podcast. It is 4 p.m. 4:24. We're in the fours. So we are glad to be in front of you today. I just wanted to take this time to shout out the what's the name of this? What was the name of that farm?
Oh, Willowbrook.
Willowbrook. The black farm, Willowbrook in Cassopolis, Michigan. We went out there and enjoyed ourselves. They had a nice little festival. It's a nice little drive. Next year we will be boofed up in Cassopolis, Michigan, spreading the Emmy brand. It was nice. Good people. A lot of what they said wouldn't happen was happening. I think sometime we got to cut them damn TVs off and really take a look at the real world from up close and personal perspective. Internet allows people to hide and pretend, but face to face, it's not something that you can hide. Anyway, how you doing, Doc?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
Good. Shanny Shan on the wheels of steel.
I can't complain. I'm here. I'm doing good.
Good. I'm gonna take this moment. They just released the article on the Emmy Way, on the Metro Parent and the Flynn Foundation about the book, The Emmy Way, for your parents, your school districts, your teachers who want to know how to handle boys successfully. It is The Emmy Way, and we're becoming your way. And real soon, the book is out. It's on Amazon, and you can get some. If you pull up over there in Southfield, you can get you a copy over there as well. So today we got a guest, Dr. Evan.
We have champions in the room, in the studio today.
Okay.
And our topic is how to become a champion for hope in your community. And just the framework, so the idea of service and servant leadership is critical to any community. Those who serve have a great and deep value more than what's seen on the surface. The ripple effect not only affects families and individuals, but generations. And we know God works through generations. And so hope is constant, faith is present, and love is eternal. And God made it that way. So we have some amazing guests in the studio with us. Our guests are from Champions for Hope, which is, if I'm saying this correctly, is an extension of Hope Starts Here. And so From their information I found on Facebook, it says they're parents, caregivers, and child care providers who are recognized as our children's first teachers and champions. They teach others in our neighborhood about early development, advocate for change in policy and systems, and helping Detroiters keep their children first. And so in our studio, we have 2 of the 3 members. We're looking for our third maybe to join us as we move through the show. But the call-in number, if you want to give some shout-outs to some of the sisters who are on the front lines for Champions for Hope. We know it's more to this group of women than just the 3 that are here today. So if you want to shout out for any of the other sisters or any of the other members, please do so by calling us at 810-560-0658. Again, that's 810-560-0658. If you've been impacted by Champions for Hope, call in, talk about your experiences, talk about what we can do better as a community and how we can duplicate some of the things that we're already seeing happening with them. So, ladies, please start by introducing yourselves, and then we'll get into some other questions. Well, introduce yourself and tell a little bit about what you do with Champions for Hope.
Well, my name is Raina, and I am a outreach specialist for Detroit Champions for Hope. Mm-hmm. We go out into our community. We conduct, we do workshops for our community. We do resource gathering for our community. We provide resources for our community. We do a lot within the community. I can't say that we have a month that doesn't go by that we're busy. Definitely.
I'm working on that. Right.
We stay busy within our community, providing resources. We have workshops for our community. Our age base, definitely, our focal point is from 0, meaning you're still in the womb, from the womb to ages 8. But we help families beyond those ages by advocating, providing resources, encouraging them to do 6-a-days, which produces a happy, healthy childhood for their children. And I'll let Laquita go on a little bit more about what we do.
Okay.
Hi, I am Laquita Brown. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for District 1 for Detroit Champions for Hope. Well, we are actually the Imperative 2 lead of Hope starts here. We have 6 imperatives, and we're Imperative 2, which is family and children. She's right. Right now, I can actually think like more present day. So we have like 6 projects we're actually working on in the organization. Mm-hmm. There's the Detroit Urban Academic Research Center, which we have advocates on that to help frame transportation around maternal health, helping, in that aspect. We do 6-a-day series. We're actually doing one now with Brilliant Houses. It's a 7-week series to encourage 6-a-days, and we give them, scientific facts behind each 6-a-day and a family engagement and takeaway toward that 6-a-day. We recently became navigators for the Department of Health. So we're doing that as well. I recently became a licensed community health worker through the organization, certified in mental health, adult and youth. It's so many different things. We're on top of so many different things. We're going to start the Kindergarten Health Oral Assessment Project in June. Yeah, so it just goes, So we're doing a lot, and like she said, I try my best to do at least 2 events per month. I haven't gave them a month off yet. Sometimes it goes beyond that.
Right.
But I said I was going to try to give them a break sometime this year. I haven't, we don't know when. But serving the community is a passion for me, and I just don't know how to stop yet.
All right.
We're also partners in our community, so when our community is hosting events, we'll definitely be there, hosting with our community partners. So whether it's with the hospital, whether it's with our city council, whether it's with our state representatives, whether it's with our child care community, we're there.
Blessings, blessings. All right, so we learned a little bit about Champions for Hope, and I'm sure we're just looking at the tip of the iceberg. We know there's so much more that is beyond what we actually see. So personally and individually, how did you become a part of the team? Where did you start with Champions for Hope? Laquita, you start. Lead us off.
Sure. So I started bringing the boys out to the events. When I started learning about Detroit Champions, they were having events in our community. And then some of the specialists on the team at the time for the district, I was already good friends with. So they decided to push me and say, hey, you need to be a specialist, not just a parent volunteer. You need to figure out how to be a specialist and come join Detroit Champions for Hope. So through that, I talked to the coordinator at the time, which was Ms. Tamara Grice, and they had a position open up for specialists, so I became a specialist. And then from that, a position became available for me to be the coordinator. And the same team members, including Ms. Arena, pushed me to be the coordinator.
Okay.
And a great choice it was.
Right.
It's a great choice it was. So I got started really, I worked in the school system as a parent liaison within the school system, and I saw a lot of things going on. So I was showing up at meetings, advocating for our kids, and I came in contact with a pro, I guess, that in the field, and she brought me into Detroit Champions for Hope. She said, you know what, you will do great in this organization. This is what we do. And so when I joined, it definitely has given me the opportunity to grow. And it's given me the opportunity to have a support group and have people to support me in the work that I want to do, and giving me opportunity to definitely to grow. And becoming the person that I want to be, really. Yeah.
Awesome. That says a lot, that one, that you were drawn in from your own personal experiences, whether that experience was from a parent or being in the school system where you're seeing our children, right? Mm-hmm. That is such a draw. And I want you to just consider people who you know and some of the reasons why people are afraid to get involved. Have you kind of seen or witnessed a little bit of that, or fear of people getting involved, either as a parent?
I definitely have, for sure. Definitely. I mean, it can definitely be scary. It can definitely be scary for you. I'll use myself as an example. Just going to speak up for children or going to speak at a school board meeting. I got stage fright. I'm not a public speaker. Mm-hmm. So every time I got ready to get up and talk, even though we were just in a room, my voice started cracking. I start sweating to death and trembling and trembling. But whatever I had to say, I got it across. It was recorded, whether they got it or not. I said it, and it was cracked up or whatever. But definitely had that fear of just speaking up. And because it's political out here, I'll just put it that way. And everybody know about politics. You're speaking
not necessarily. Everybody doesn't have the experience. And because this is a natural part of you and you understand politics, it's a whole community of people who don't understand politics. They don't understand voting or why that's important. Right. They don't understand that they have a voice. They don't understand that there are people advocating for them because they're not speaking up publicly. So this is a part of educating, right? Mm-hmm. Our podcast is called Put Your Family First, right? For a lot of different reasons, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to put your family as your motivation for doing something, right? True. Sometimes you have to put your children needs before your own, right? Yeah. And I send that message out to And this is not about judgment. Let me make sure that's clear. Judgment for us is good, bad, right, or wrong. What we promote is, one, that our children are promised. They are promised. They have promise. They are the promise, right? And so the more we center that idea, that is part of what is at the heart of Emmy, right? And so, and the other part of that is encouragement. So helping people to overcome those fears.
One of our 6 days.
It's okay. That's
I definitely agree with that. And I wouldn't so much call it fear as much as I would call it just lack of potential. Everybody got the potential to be a champion.
Right.
It's just the fear of something new to you. It's really old. It's an old thing, but a lot of people don't know that. And then I tell them, all the time when I talk about our events, how I feel after our events. Anytime we're in a community, you have to open yourself up fully. You have to be fully vulnerable. And you have to be trusting enough to even do that, so that they can trust you and listen to what you have to say. A lot of people they can't face themselves in the mirror. So how can I face a community?
Calvin, you look like you want to say something.
No. Go ahead. I'll jump in. I'll jump in.
Oh, okay. All right. And so when you think about the scope of Champions for Hope and what some of the things that you all have done over time, like what are some of those things and what does that look like? I mean, like a barbecue, helping a mother find a resource. Like, what are some of those things that brought you joy in the process?
So the really big thing that we do yearly is the Day of the Young Child, just celebrating children. I tried to come up with something different every year. I did ice cream socials where we just went to the park, gave out so much ice cream and bubbles and just had fun. Like
bubbles.
hula hoops, tug of war. I just, celebrating the children is the biggest thing. We do barbecues, yoga. When the sun come out, we outside. I tell the team we outside. Y'all just get ready. And sometimes they be like, I'm not doing all that this time. I'm tired. I understand, but I will be there. I'll be there. And just the whole framework to me is wonderful. That's what drew me in. That's what made me dedicate, time to it and bring my children into it and expose them to it. And then I grew even more so in the organization. I went to college. It's just so many things I did and continue to do, and now there's so many people that you don't even know looking at you. So some of those volunteer opportunities, I became, the only person in Michigan to join the governor's parent board, be appointed to that. I am now the only person in Michigan that's a mom's rising beacon for hope. So it's just a lot of
blessings,
a lot of things, that I am very grateful for. And I think growing in the organization helped me and actually molded me to be the volunteer advocate that I am today, even though I came with advocacy, advocate for my children. Well, I had a child at the time, of a son. My son has a mental health issue, so as a young mother, a black mother, it was like, all he needs is a whooping. Just beat him. He'd be all right. And I kept hearing that, but it just didn't sit right with me, I went to his doctor, I asked for help and see what's going on with my son. That's when I found out about schizophrenia being a gene that, passed down to children. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So on my journey to advocate for the right medication, the right therapy, the right road for my son, I was also advocating for myself as a young mother. What do I do? How do I get out of this FIA to getting on my nerves? So I kept looking at those job boards every day. I had to go see this worker as a teen mother. And then I would see the job boards at his therapy, sessions, and I started looking at the nursing assistant classes, and I said, okay, I'm going to take them nursing assistant classes. But long story short, that journey was long. 15 years long to be exact. Mm-hmm. And I've been in nursing now for 24 years.
Wow.
My son lives in, I want to say, he lives in Wixom now. He works every day. He'll be 29 in a few weeks.
Oh, blessing.
Yep. So that advocacy brought me here, and I advocate for my other children as well, because I have an 8-year-old who lives with autism, and it's been a journey. But through that journey, I've been a champion, and those champions around me, they gave me strength to be the strength that my family need as well.
That's awesome. Thank you. If you don't hear it enough every day, here's your thank you today.
Thank you.
And thank you, Raina, you too. Because, people, Calvin and I, we've been in this work for, some years too, right? We got close to almost 70, 75 years in this work between the two of us. And so it's one of the reasons why we wrote The Emmy Way. It actually took us 3 years to pull all of the concepts together, all the lessons that we learned. And you look at the book and you're like, really, that's it? Like, it's not no thick. I don't believe in having real thick novels. Now, a lot of his books are, he got some thick books. But I believe in an easy read. Most of my books, I say you can read in a wash and dry cycle. So I have 6 books that are, I call them user-friendly, right? You can get in that car and just drive it, and by the time your favorite songs are done and your bath, the water is cold, you got something, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But just to understand the Emmy Way is taking like the pieces and the foundations of those thoughts, right? That adults, we have this expectation that our kids are the ones that are supposed to change. Our kids are growing into who they are supposed to be. We have shaped them into who they are now. We've been part of that shaping. And so the Emmy Way is our reshaping, because this is the generation that we have created. And we're looking at them like they're the ones that are crazy. But there's some rethinking and there's some adopting that we have to do. And so we talk about that in the Emmy Way. That's really some of the things that promoted it, and how to connect with our boys, because it seems like there's a growing gap between our parents, our teachers, our practitioners, and our boys. They seem to be fading, or moving, further to the back. When we need to be understanding their language. When somebody, if you're in a space and the language is different, right? And I'm sure, even in your work, that it's a constant interpretation. So what does this body language mean? Mm-hmm. What does this mean when this person always sits in the back, or nobody sits in the front 2 rows? Those kinds of ways of being. How do we help cultivate and draw out, like you talked about, the potential that we all have? Who's drawing that out? We know the champions are. And so, but I'm just saying, we recognize it as it's not easy to be on the front lines. To stand up in front of somebody and say, hey, I got a tool for you. I got a resource for you. We got a new way of thinking. Come try it. Come join us. Come be excited with us. Because every time I see any of you guys are like super hyped, super excited. But I know part of that is because it's what you believe in.
Right.
And when you believe in something, it has a way of pulling the passion.
Yeah.
Pulling the passion towards you. So I know I'm going on in a minute, but I think that's important to recognize. And I don't think those of us who do the work, we don't talk about it. We just do it and we go on to the next thing. Do it, go on to the next thing, right?
That's true.
Because we just keep it moving, because we know to stop and to pause. You take too long to pause, it might settle in on what you actually are doing and what you have actually done. If that really sits in on you, you're like, whoa.
Laquita don't sit down.
I believe
I object.
She don't. She stay going. I did want to do a little clarification for Detroit Champions for Hope. Mm-hmm. We are not just a sisterhood. we have men.
Okay.
There is men involvement. We would like to have more men involved in the work that we do
Awesome.
for our youth outreach. Even though we're focused on the 0 to 8, we do have outreach for our other, family members that are older. And with doing this work, we all got like 3-4 other jobs that we do. I know one of the biggest things for me is definitely, and I'm proud of Laquita for creating Trills and S's. And I work with her to do workshops for mental health workshops, which we did partner with our District 1 leader, who is now council president, James Tate, with his Protect Your Crown. It's very important to do that outreach and include our young men, which Laquita has had sessions for men. We have, celebration of our young men, or giving them a chance to speak, because you don't really see them necessarily having a voice or being able to even say anything. Their emotions and stuff has been smashed so much, even just as small children. Oh, be quiet, shut your mouth, you don't need to be crying. Why are you crying? You a man, be quiet, you don't need to cry. But our young men have emotions, they have feelings, they have things that's going on that they don't necessarily talk to us about. So we do create that open space for them to feel comfortable to come through. Is it slow with the young men? Yes, it definitely is. So we need more men to be involved, come in and, have that connection with our young men, or mentoring. We need mentoring. I've been dealing with some young men who I'm definitely trying to get mentorship, or them involved with having a mentor. Young lady, the women in the family, they say, okay, we're going to do what you say. We'll get to it. A man say something, they jump on it. A man put their foot down, they doing it. Or the right lead. I'm going to say this, the right leader will lead them in the right direction of things what to do. And they'll listen more when it comes to, a man. They do. They going to do what I tell them to do. They going to take all day to do it. But soon as uncle or daddy say, get to it, they get up, take care of it, they move their butt a little bit faster. Or even just being able to connect to another young man to tell them what's really going on, Yeah. So.
I don't think that. So for me, when everything that you just said, we've heard those conversations. Even when we were building Hope Starts Here, those were the conversations at the table. And the encouragement piece was put in. I remember talking to Bernita Bradley and us having the conversation. And the thing that what you're just saying is the conditioning for which we all handle boys from is one that they recognize as rejection. And what I mean by that is in classrooms and in locations and everywhere, there's a little thing called interparental conflict that boys deal with probably more so than girls, because the girls has her species. The boy, he doesn't. And when you're trying to then recruit and bring them to the table, they walk into the same environment where they see women in charge of the process. And that doesn't lend to their voice.
Gotcha.
It's the same thing. And, if you're bringing them, like we posted, free boys can come. We understand that right now, even over the summer, everybody's hunting, looking for kids just for their organizations to fill up so they can gather some of that summer money. It's still not a caring environment. When I say that, I say, again, we posted for free, we're going to grab 100 boys. We have 6. When you...
For the boot camp.
Just for boot camp. But of the 6, we found some incredible young men that have bought in. And it was free. right? And it goes till the end of this month. I'm talking to him later on about grabbing some other time. Judge has already volunteered to give.
I got some boys.
Right, and so
I think sometimes too, transportation can be an issue. Depending on transportation is a huge issue when it comes to. I mean,
I get that too. But the truth is, we will make a way. Mm-hmm. And we will make a way for the things that we think are important. We see often in the work that we do, right, that mothers often give boys or their sons or grandsons choices that are adult choices to make. Like they may feel that mentoring is not important to them. What's more important to me is going home and playing my video games and you leaving me alone. And nobody telling me what to do because I want to govern my own world. And so if I'm not governing my own world, I don't want to be a part of yours. Yours is often what we hear coming back from them, which is why in our program, our mentoring program specifically, we have a program within that program for mothers and grandmothers to help them better understand how to help set boundaries and understand that certain ways that we think as women do not fit how they are as boys. And we try, because we're going to make it as convenient as possible, because we have so much that we have to do, sometimes with very little resources, very little energy, right? Yeah. But often who's on the edges of that, because it's easier. I mean, not that it's easy. Hear me. I'm not saying that it's easy working with girls. I'm saying, but we have a better understanding because we know what they would be going through as a female. Like there's some things that are typical of females that we go through. That what my son is going through, I really don't. I can empathize and I can put my thoughts on what it looks like as a mother with his and the level of involvement that his father has or doesn't have, or mentor has or doesn't have, or grandfather, whoever that male figure, male influence in his life, right? And I can empathize. I can even get upset. And if I can't do it, then I'm going to figure out something to do, whatever that might look like, depending on what your knowledge is, your resources is, and your motivation. Because you do have to have some levels of motivation toward dealing with the things that we have to deal with our sons. And so what sometimes what it comes back to, or what I have seen personally in our program, and we work with over 24,000 youth. That's male and female, but around 70% of that is male. And so in the spaces with the mothers and grandmothers and having these conversations, we cut down to what's real. Like, why didn't you do something sooner? And this is not about judgment. This is how do we get to the real challenge that each individual was having, because collectively we have great power and great strength and great levels of support. So that guilt and that shame in our program is melted away, because we all need each other, even if just to hold me up through today, And so I'm just saying that those things are important, but it's also important, that piece that you both talked about with the boys and what needs to happen. So
to answer, you can bring them tomorrow, 6:30.
6:30. Okay.
Right, we are over there at Cornerstone, right off Alder Drive, and right on the corner, right across from Wayne County.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 6:30. Make sure they got on shorts and some shoes, because they're gonna run and all of that. They got to sign in. We could send you the link, and I'll have Heather send you the link. Okay. So you can fill it out for them. We taking them 8 to 16. Okay. And any other your boys, we're interested, right? Because we're building out our sports department, and we just launched $1 million campaign to raise $1 million to do this work, duplicate this work in other cities in Michigan and outside and abroad, right. Because it's at this particular point right now, we understand that right? What you're dealing with and you all are dealing with is more than just the fact that very same thing is happening to the man, the same thing that's happening to the husbands, and the same thing is happening to the fathers. The what we see in our youth, in our community, and in the work broadly for our families is if we can stop the division saying that one is smarter than the other. We do this with so much lack of knowledge and understanding. And then if I believe that she's smarter than me, what does that do for me as a young man, right? So that's a mental health cause and effect right there. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, science say women have more words, but strategically impoverished field homes and homes within these communities, they only get 30,000 words. Your boys are probably getting a little more than 30,000, but when you get into these homes where children are faced with 1 million words or more, in father-led homes alone, they get more words. In father-led homes, a child is more likely to get 1.5 million words. Now, we would disagree with that, but the data shows because of the communication. In the mother-led home, when it's 2, that's 3 million words that a child is exposed to. So the conversations that you were having with your son and he's having with the son, the kids are getting more words, which more words means what? Growth. Words absolutely impact the body of the children. So the more words that they get in, the more it unlocks their gifts. Math, sciences.
I should still keep making my kids do vocabulary words.
Flat out. Dump them.
They run from me.
Yeah,
they running from me.
That should be a family ritual. In our Reading is Life campaign for boys 3 to 7, right? We had one 8-year-old read 84 books in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Right, and so when we say these things, collaboration becomes a difficult thing, right? And for us, we've collaborated over the years with different people, but different people come to the table and say they want to collaborate. And see, we're more than just what you see on the surface. It's a brand, and so the outcomes that we have are a 98% parental involvement. That's access, right? When you look at what you all are doing is beyond powerful because you got access to do it. Now, how do we bring in and solve those issues or whatever? You have to make boys a strategic target. You can't. It's not passive.
I just want to bring up something. I do like the reading session that you guys are doing. I saw it really quick, but I know doing this work, we are out in the community and we go to the community, and sometimes you have to bring stuff to people and have them come back to where you are. So we did a couple of tabling over at what's the name of the places on Evergreen? Smith Homes. So we did a couple of tablings over at the Smith Homes during their back to school session time. We, did a tabling for their back to school. Yeah. Working with Detroit Public Schools, I also sit on their Let's Read board. So Let's Read goes into the school and do tutoring with children from pre-K up and until 3rd grade. Right now, I think they're capping it at 2nd grade or somewhere right there. Mm-hmm. You know how many kids?
Oh, I'm
How many
can't read on a kindergarten level and they in the 3rd grade?
Oh, okay. Yes, we do know that.
It's sad. It's really sad. So sometimes you have to go to the community. Yes, you got these programs going on. You want them to come to you. Sometimes transportation is an issue. Sometimes lack of time is an issue, or just not being able to stop and make that time. I'm not saying that everybody is laid up smoking weed, doing whatever. Right. That's not always the case.
That's not always the case.
You have parents that work 2 and 3 jobs with only one car or no car.
Right.
So sometimes you have to go out to your community. The next thing I wanted to mention is sometimes people ask for help. when you go to ask for that help, people will be in certain positions. They could definitely help you right away. If I'm telling you it's a dire need, it's an emergency, I need some help like today, but you're telling me, oh, well, stipulation, you got to do this first before I can help you. I said, oh, okay. But if I can't get to that to even, get some help, help me while you can, or do whatever it is that you can do to help me without putting a stipulation on that. I might not have transportation today to do it, but I'm coming to you today to either lead me to some transportation, or I need you to help me. If I'm saying I need help right now today, no, I don't got time, or if it's dire need or urgent, I need it now.
Yeah, those agencies.
I need help right now.
Those agencies are out there, right?
I need help right now. If I'm telling you I'm in the trenches, or my family's is in the trenches and they need to come out before they do something to get locked up, I need some assistance. Without stipulation.
We don't get those calls, right? Those calls we refer out because there are agencies that handle that. We get the calls because we pull from 4 counties. Mm-hmm. We get the calls that I need that, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm coming to get that, right? And that's our work is prevention and intervention. So when you're saying that these kids need mentoring, the people that really want that mentoring, they're gonna come get it, right? We've seen that over the years. Even it's funny, you guys had brought up something earlier, and it triggered a response from when we had 350 boys on the east side. So in that environment, those things were at the table when we first started. So we had jobs, we had employment, we had because there was a sense of urgency because they were picking these boys up to fill up beds in the juvenile.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And so
that's what it's going to go back to right now.
Yeah, because
it is.
It is, but it can be. Our voices right now is in prevention. Right now, what we're talking about is in prevention. It can be. When you talked about literacy, that was a whole nother thing, because if we decided that literacy was a very important thing to the diaspora, to the community, right? Literacy wouldn't be an issue. We have a $44.6 billion industry of nonprofits in the city of Detroit. 44.6 billion. Now, we can let that resonate, but understand that in that 44.6 billion, economically, that's not feeding the city of Detroit. That's not giving the city of Detroit everything that it needs. That's not helping the parents. And then when we look at it, jobs, preparation for jobs, things that we put in place. So I'm with you when you say how you care about what's happening because you both have sons. I'm 100% with you on that. Right?
Sons and nephews.
Yeah. So in our environment, we're growing this thing this way. We launched it this way because we're not in that $44.6 billion industry, right? And so we've had to figure out different ways to bring this work, although it's really good work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's awarded. It's, one thing I'm most definitely proud of is the fatherhood involvement. We have a high fatherhood involvement. I got fathers on deck.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for us, it's if there is ever a collaboration, there has to be a certain access to some budgetary.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Monetary.
Right. So we can make sure, because they're ready. A lot of men really do want to help, but they walking in the same environment. It's the same thing, in my opinion. And I said this before, and a lot of people can disagree or whatever, because I think for myself a lot of times, and most of the time,
as you should.
Right. So I said the election was lost because it wasn't incorporative of family the way it should have been. It should have been incorporated where there were men, the husbands, and the voice of the fathers and the men that worked, and that was on one side of the field. It wasn't incorporated in the Democratic Party. And in that process, I'll say it again and time again, if you are going to win, the Democratic Party has to be encompassing of fatherhood. You understand what I'm saying? It can't just be women walking to the podium and speaking about all the things. It has to be inclusive of fatherhood and family, because that's where you're going to keep losing. People are looking for a reason to save their families, and America cannot be saved with racism. It has to be saved by families. Now, that's just me thinking, but I can run down some data to back it up if that's the case, but I'm not going to do so because
Thank you.
She's pointing to the sheet.
All right.
Because I was getting ready to get on my horse, you know what I mean? And we was getting ready to get...
We went into a totally different area. Well, can I say one thing?
Go ahead, please.
I want to say, even before the pandemic, but just remember that we had a pandemic that took our kids out of learning completely, and we got generations of kids that went through the pandemic that didn't get what they needed.
Yeah, even while they was in the house.
Even though education has been scaled all the way back, all the way back. They're not getting the same education that we got. They're not getting the little bits that we got. They're not getting that.
Right.
But anyhow, remember, we got pandemic children. We got people who went through pandemic. Some who graduated, some who didn't. So you got some people, a lot of children, or a lot of young men who have not graduated from high school. They don't have a high school diploma. But guess what? If they ain't got no job, they gonna get what they need, how they need to get it.
Yeah.
And we need to, it needs to be some provisions made for those who did not get their high school diploma or whatever they needed during that time. Well, we got to make some provisions for them.
The teacher is the video game. See, and the video gaming really impacts their cognitive health. So we can, me and you, we can kick it on that all day, right? Because I'm with you. But this is why I wrote. This is why we put together.
They can drive. They can do whatever. There's jobs.
Yeah,
you know
but you got to be. The problem that they're having with employment is the same thing you were just talking about with COVID. Mm-hmm. They'll show up for a week.
Some of them.
They might show up 3 days, right? And then after they get the check, you don't see them no more, right? And they're seeing that in employment. They're seeing that across the board in Gen Z. An article just came out.
Oh yeah,
Gen Z.
It's different.
Yeah, they're not applying anything that they have because of those very things. But the cognitive behavior,
they're not there for a long time. They're there for a short time.
Short time, yeah.
And they're entrepreneurial.
Yeah. So that's a completely different thing, because these are the dynamics we push. But I'll say this, and you can get back to the sheet. I'll say this, right? You good.
We do it all the time.
Yeah. No, you right on topic.
I'm passionate.
Yeah, you're right on topic. I'll say this though. Bring the boys, right? And as many boys as you want to bring. In the gym is our secret sauce. And then in the fall, we're bringing the boys, we're bringing back the mentoring program. And we're pulling again from 4 counties. So we're pulling boys from everywhere. And now that we're in Oakland County, we're working on having one in Oakland County as well. And there are some conversations that's taking place. But I'm with you. As long as I know we had this conversation before over there off of that men's thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now back to the show.
So, and we think about, so I think it's important too that when you see people and they're public figures, somehow you forget that they were people. And Laquita, we kind of had this earlier about, we have the same bodily functions, right, that everybody else has. Like, how do you level the lens? Because you see somebody in there up front, or you see them on social media, or you see them speaking, or you see them, you're on an exclusive, you have an exclusive role with the governor, right, for the state. Like, that's huge. But people forget that you are a mother, a wife, you're an everyday person. Like, you show up, you get up, and you know, get in the bathroom, and we do the things that we do. But somehow, and you know, and I understand that, because you know, when you think about your teachers growing up, they weren't real people. They lived in the school. They lived in their classroom. They did not have fun. They did. If you saw them roller skating at the market, you like in shock, right? But so with that in mind, as a person, as an individual, what was your journey like? Like, where did you start? So are you from Detroit? What school did you go to? What neighborhood did you grow up in? Like, what's your backstory?
Oh, okay. So yes, I was born and raised in Detroit. I went to Detroit Public Schools. I started at Sampson, Biddle, Weber, Northwestern, McKenzie. I didn't finish until I had to go. I got to go outside of Detroit to actually finish high school. I wasn't finishing in Detroit with my friends. I wasn't gonna do it. But yeah, that started. I do want to say that it started very young. Me thinking, noticing that my authoritative figures were just people, because we did see our teachers coming out of spaces that they shouldn't have been in. After school, I grew up in that era. Okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what you doing coming out of there? Because I know what they doing there. What you doing coming out of there? Mm-hmm. But my mom always taught me, never to be scared to talk to anybody, because we're all human. It's about exposure. And I just want to say, for those that don't know, what Emmy means is encourage me, I'm young. You guys are already, that's the blueprint for everything. The exposure at a young age. Like I said, I was a teenager, but I was able to expose myself to those postings, to get a job and be able to start a career, doing all of this, you know what I'm saying? It's about exposure. It's about sharing this information. Mm-hmm. How can I know what's out there if nobody don't share it with me? Right. Then let me make the decision, because I was on a bus, a long ride every day. So let me make the decision. If I have the exposure, if I have the information, then maybe that is something I need to do. And that's just the bottom line. Don't be afraid to talk to anybody. I think that's how I became appointed. They told me on the phone when I was doing my interview, they're like, you don't have any political background whatsoever. You're just a parent, and that seems like. But the way you talking to me is so passionate. We're gonna give you a chance. So that's how I got all my relationships. I formed all of my relationships that way. Even with the council, just being dedicated to the mental health sessions, and him seeing the dedication and the vulnerability, he opened up, shared his story, mm-hmm. his past. And mm-hmm. what hurt him, things like that. Even with our state representative, Stephanie Young, such a cool individual. She came to the house, knocked on the door. They're like, it's a lady at the door. Like, what lady? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you just have to be authentic. You have to be authentic, and you have to be honest with yourself. I cannot put anybody on a pedestal before me because of what God brought me through. Right. I know there's a God. So I can't worship a person. You may have these different opportunities that I have, mm-hmm. but it's never too late for me. But let me have a conversation with you still.
That's right. Raina, how about you? Your journey? What's your backstory?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Detroit. Went to Detroit Public Schools. I did graduate from Detroit Public Schools. I'm gonna say I've pretty much inside and out do work within social work, basically. Mm-hmm. So dealing with people, dealing with trying to help people. So that's been my whole background, really. It right. definitely has. So in the medical field, still in the medical field, just in a different way right now. Doing Detroit Champions for Hope is all about advocating for people, trying to assist my community, my people. I also, do a little bit of advocacy work within Detroit Champions for Hope. That's new for me. So Detroit Champions for Hope is definitely helping me grow. And I think in the end, I want to go into maybe some legal or policy writing.
Awesome.
Because that's where you're going to ultimately help the people.
Yeah.
Is doing policy writing or somewhere in the legal field. So I think in the end, when I'm done, it'll be probably with policy writing, probably.
I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a question that I want you to close with about what advice would you give a family or community member who is maybe afraid to step up or has not yet stepped up? What's your advice?
If you need a friend or a partner, I'm here. We can do this together. It's not impossible.
I don't know why you just put that out there publicly, LaQuita.
I got hands.
Listen, her phone.
My team getting tired of me anyway, so come on. Let's go. We're gonna take over the world. We're gonna take over the
Her
world.
phone don't stop ringing, but she just put that out there publicly.
Let's take over the world.
Raina, what's your advice?
I would definitely say there is power in numbers. While you may feel like you're doing something alone, there's somebody out there already probably doing that work for you. You find that group and you join that group, and whatever you need help with, it's power in numbers.
Great
It's power
advice.
in numbers.
Right. And so can we put up the flyer about an upcoming event that Champions for Hope is hosting? Coming up, when is it, the 23rd? 27th, okay.
May 27th.
So tell us a little bit about this event.
Let's go, Quita.
That's another dedication that I do monthly. I try to do this monthly, is to have a mental health space for parents. I know that this was Women's Health Week, it's coming up. So I wanted to do something towards women's health. So we came up with Bloom and Breathe. It's just another way of saying come and exhale. Talk about it. I try to do a space like this for families each month. Surrounding different topics. We've covered my family secret, women, on their journeys from secret to sacred. We've covered toxic relationships,
grief.
Different. Grief. Definitely, we had to revisit grief because the community asked for it again. And that's one thing I can say. The community grieves. I mean, they're grieving. They're constantly grieving. That
was one of the most
what.
powerful workshops that we did. I think that was like the most powerful mental health. All of them are good, but that was it was really good.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And so how does our community tap in? What are some of the ways they find you on social media? Is there a phone number to call? Is there a list to get on, an email list to get on?
So I think the easiest way to communicate is just my first name at DetroitChampions.org. That's the simplest way, I think. Just to send an email to say, hey, I seen, or I heard, or I seen this flyer. A lot of people do email us like, I seen this flyer. You got anything else coming up? So I think that's just the easy way. It starts a conversation for me, mostly anyway. Okay. I see that you take the time to send an email, and I'm going to take the time to build a relationship because evidently that's what you're looking for.
Awesome. Any final words, any closing remarks?
Raina, where can they get you? Don't be over there smiling, hide. Come on with it.
The same thing.
Raina at DetroitChampionsForHope.org.
Dang, I didn't put it out there. Yeah, so it's Raina, RANA, at DetroitChampionsForHope.org.
All right. And so we got a couple of shout outs in the chat box. Janita and Malik are out there listening and giving some thumbs up about some of y'all great advice.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Where can they reach you at?
You can reach me at your Heather at yourinspiredjourney.com, or you can reach me by my website at yourinspiredjourney.com, or you can reach me by phone at 313-759-7855.
You can reach me at emiyworld.com and tap in on the 1 million reasons boys matter. Today has been very interesting considering that the hope does start here. And we understand when we say that, why it's so important for parents to be grounded and prepared. I recently had a conversation with my son, and I was explaining to him that it is so important that you understand that once you have a child, they get it all. And it's in that process that I think we have the disconnect, because so many of us didn't get to grow up, be mature, understand what it takes to be a parent and to be in deep with your child so your child's success can actually match the words that you said. I know no man or woman who doesn't want their child to be better than them. I find it ironic that our children sit in the position that they sit in this country. Now, it's not so ironic because I understand the complexity of the things, the policies, the things that impact the growth and where you can go and what you can become. I understand by looking out and seeing all these buildings, skyscrapers, it's been my hope that one day I would walk and be able to see a black man pull up to a building that he actually owns, and it's more than a floor. These are the things that children are faced with. The lack of hope is being displayed daily from us. And it is in our work, everyone that's at this table, it is in our work to make sure that they see a different way. I am not of this system. And I want that to be clear. When you see me, I am not of this system. I do not chase behind. I do not do that. It is not in my spirit to kiss and chase and beg. It is in my spirit to produce, lead, grow, uplift, love, change, produce, build. That is what I've been doing. That is what we all are doing. And so, with that being said, today has been a very important conversation, although you may have missed it because of the people that you know. Tap back in and listen. There were quite a few jewels and messages that were dropped in today's show. And with that being said, my name is Dr. Kelvin T. Mann. I am a visionary. I am what God said, the great I am. And I cannot do anything other than what has been put in front of me. And so that's what we'll continue to do. I appreciate the guests that came on today. And Shani, Heather, I appreciate you guys. But remember, time is all you have to change what you are. Peace.
It's all about the key.